Hey, Waffle Gang, I do hope you all well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more relationship stories. If you do love a Reddit story, want to consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, as it really helps out the channel. I just want to give you a huge thank you for everything you do, for the memberships, for the likes, for the watching the videos and commenting, and it just blows me away every single time. I'm ever so thankful. Thank you so much, and let's crack on with today's first story. Now, today's first story comes from My Mind is in Bora Bora. This story is a long one with a couple of updates as well, with the final update being quite dramatic. I must say myself, had to come back and re-record that, but let's dive straight into it. My 22 female, boyfriend 25 male, is hiding all my stuff and I have no idea why. Thanks to everyone who reads this, I'll try to keep it short. My boyfriend of 5 months just moved in with me 3 weeks ago. He had some problems with his apartment, down walls, and it has to be renovated. As my roommate is currently spending some time abroad, I told him it will be okay if he stayed at my place for 4 to 6 weeks. He'd be able to move back to his own apartment by that time. So now we've been living together for 3 weeks and things started out great. Jealousy had been a bit of a problem between us because we often go out separately, probably once a week, but coming home to the same apartment helped him get over his unjustified jealousy. But there has been one new problem. Now, this may seem petty at first, but I'm really at my wit's end with this one. Ever since he moved in with me, things started disappearing and then reappearing one day later, in the same place they were missing from. I'm talking about documents, small household items, and food. And it's not like losing keys and then finding them again somewhere. I specifically looked for something in a certain place where it isn't, but it is there the next day. For example, I like take a chocolate bar with me to work in the morning, and for that, I normally have a pack of chocolate bars at home. Shortly after he moved in with me, I woke up to find all the chocolate was gone. I asked him about it. He said he didn't know anything about it. I come home just to find chocolate bars in the cupboard again. I ask him. He says he doesn't know anything about it. Maybe you just didn't see them in the morning. We're talking about a large pack with about 12 chocolate bars. How can I not see that? At first, I thought it was maybe some strange kind of humor, but he seems angry when I bring it up and it's starting to really piss me off because sometimes it's been items belonging to one of my friends that I wanted to give back to them and then couldn't, or it was certain documents I needed for a certain day. Now, I have absolutely no idea what this is about. I am not crazy, I just don't understand at all. He gets really angry when I talk about it, saying I'm making this up just to cause drama. Why should I? I have no idea what's going on. Any ideas? Now, this is very strange behavior, isn't it? If we're going with the information that we have here, and boyfriend is moving stuff around and hiding it, and then gaslighting you, telling you, maybe you didn't see it, and it was in the place and you just missed it. And by the sounds of it, from what OP is saying, that's pretty impossible, and it's happening quite frequently. So I guess I can only think that's some sort of control tactic maybe, but again, it does seem very odd. So I'm going to be interested in that update, but there is a couple of relevant comments where OP replied to people, so we're going to cover those quickly before we move on to the update as well. So Kaiser Muffin came in straight away and said, he's gaslighting you, run, to which OP replied saying, someone else used that term too. I looked it up on Urban Dictionary, but I'm not sure what it's supposed to mean, and why would someone do that? I mean, what's the goal behind it? Matt Sickle says, the goal is to make you think you're crazy so you doubt your own sanity, and he is the one in control of the situation, and is always right because you are clearly insane. Neuronomia says, to expand on this comment, it's a way to manipulate you and increase your control while diminishing yours. It is a setup for an abusive relationship. It will manipulate the victim into dependency on the abuser, making the victim mentally unsure and unable to leave the relationship, and often financially unable to do so, or have no way to obtain the means to leave. You may want to question his motives here. Would someone you care about and supposedly cares about you too want to make you feel insane? What motive will you have to move your things and then put them back? OP replied saying, I don't know, this sounds really fucked up. He's a nice guy and I don't know how to put it. He's not the most academic guy. This sounds like serious psychological manipulation. Spice Woman quoted, he's a nice guy, and says, you mean you think he's a nice guy because of his actions, before his most recent one have led you to assume so. How long did you know him before you started dating? Do you have a lot of mutual friends? Do you know any of his exes? OP replies in, I've known him for about 2 months. We met at a mutual friend's party. I was just out of another relationship and wasn't interested in dating, but he showered me with very romantic gifts, gestures, and letters, which I hadn't known from any of my exes. And so we started going on dates about a month after we met. He wanted a relationship very quickly, and at some point I thought, why not? Dragonflight replies that saying, I thought you said you met at a bar and that's why he didn't like you going to the bar alone, equals lots of girlfriends. And then OP replies one more time saying, yes, it was a friend's birthday at a bar and we were all quite drunk. Everyone was dancing. I guess I was dancing with some other guy before I even talked to him. Until this day, he often says, I fell in love with you at first sight, but you danced with some idiot, so I love you more, and stuff like that. And there's just a couple more relevant comments, one from the Shiny Guru who asks, could he be testing how much you trust him? In a really fucked up way. And he keeps doing it because it makes him angry that you just don't believe him when he says, I didn't move it. Could be a power play. He likes exerting control over you. Or he just likes fucking with your head. Prank gone wrong? I don't know. Regardless of the reason, if you were sure he's doing this, trying to make someone think they're crazy is pretty serious. At a rough estimate, how many times would you say things have gone missing? Oki replies that saying, wow, this seems all like really advanced psychological stuff, and he's a really nice guy, and I don't know. I can't imagine him putting that much thought into testing me. Prank gone wrong doesn't sound that bad, but I'm afraid for a prank it's happened a bit too often. In the last 3 weeks, I'd say it happened about every third day, and the more I'm thinking about it, it's happened about 3 times before he moved in with me. When I was sleeping at his place and couldn't find things I brought with me to his place. And later, he'd tell me he found them exactly where I was looking for them. But it doesn't make any sense. I don't get the motive behind it. And then OP read an article on Wikipedia about gaslighting and said, I just read part of the Wikipedia article and it sounds scary as shit. What do I do? Is it wise to confront him about this? We'll be living in the same apartment for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And some of the comments there have me thinking, especially one where he's rushing into a relationship. And I was thinking, it seemed a bit odd to me, but I thought maybe that is normal at the same time. So I may be wrong there. Like sharing with the gifts and letters and stuff like that. It felt a bit too much, but again, could be wrong. But again, the comments were totally right. If you love someone that much, you wouldn't be doing these strange gaslighting tactics of removing stuff and telling them that, you know, they were there, you're just missing them or something like that. So let's move on to the update to see what happens next. First of all, thank you all very much for your suggestions, advice, support, and concern. I've gotten multiple PNs asking if I was okay, and I really appreciate it. So back to my situation. After I read all your comments and did some reading on gaslighting, I was really freaked out. Plenty of you told me there were other red flags in our relationship. It got me thinking, more and more stuff came to mind that should have worried me a long time ago. Our whole relationship felt pretty rushed from the start. I didn't even want to date, but he showered me with romantic gestures, date ideas, texts, and I finally gave in. He was pretty upset when I didn't want to say I love you from the start. When I didn't want him to meet my family right away, when I didn't want to have sex without a condom. You just don't trust me. And when I didn't want to book an expensive vacation with him. He was very jealous and didn't want me to go out without him, although he went out with his friends all the time. He made me cancel plans to spend time with him and then stood me up. He logged into my Facebook and changed my relationship status one day after we started dating as a surprise. I actually did worry at that, but thought he was just bad at making surprises. As another user pointed out, all the stuff that has gone missing had something to do with me leaving the house or meeting friends and family. A gift from my friend. The key to my parents' house. A USB stick I borrowed. Documents for an application for a semester abroad, which we had a huge fight about because he didn't want me to go, etc. After I read all about gaslighting, I ordered a nanny cam. Unfortunately, the delivery took 4 days, and after 1 day, I already knew I couldn't be with him any longer. I wanted him out of the apartment ASAP and with as little drama as possible. I told him that my roommate had gotten a really interesting job offer and would cut her vacation short and come home in a week, so he had to move out. He was pretty angry, but I told him there was nothing I could do. I also told him, as some of you suggested, that his landlord had to get him a place to stay and that he should call him. The next day, he told me that he had talked to his landlord and he can move back into his own flat on the following weekend. The renovations had not taken as long as planned. At this point, I doubt the apartment ever had damp walls to begin with, but who knows? In the evening, he asked me if I wanted to move in with him because it worked so well, and you don't like your roommate anyway. I never even said that. I told him sure, I would move in with him in June. He was pretty excited about it. While I was waiting for the nanny cam to arrive, there was one incident when something went missing. A book that I ordered from my dad over Amazon and wanted to bring him the next day. At least that's what I told my boyfriend. Of course, in the morning, the book was gone. I chose to ignore it and he reacted quite strange to it. Even asked me on my way out if I'd taken the book with me. Why on earth would he ask that if he didn't expect the reaction from me? I just asked, what book? The book you wanted to bring your dad. I replied, I don't know what you're talking about. In the evening, the book was back on my desk again. Of course. And I ignored it again. 2 hours later, he casually walks by my desk and says, that's the book I was talking about. I just said, oh, that book. He seemed pretty angry for the rest of the evening. 2 days later, the nanny cam finally arrived. I set it up while he was at the gym, and again, when he was there, placed a letter I needed for work on my desk. I wasn't surprised at all when it was gone a few hours later and reappeared the next day. When I finally was alone at home again and could check on the nanny cam evidence, I only saw what I already knew. He took the letter while passing the desk, put it in his gym bag, and put it back a few hours later. However, as soon as I saw the evidence, I decided against confronting him. To be honest, I was scared of his reaction, and I'd already decided to break it off as soon as possible. Also, the camera didn't show me his motive, and I figured he probably wouldn't tell me anyway. However, it frustrated me very much that I would probably never know why he did it, and on the last evening before he moved back to his newly renovated apartment, I told him I wanted to watch an old movie called Gaslights. Thanks for the tip, everybody. It is a really great movie. He sat with me through the whole movie, but was quieter than usual when I talked the whole time about how unrealistic the movie was and that he was obviously insane. I actually expected some kind of reaction from him, but he just sat there looking nervous. On Sunday, he took all his stuff back to his apartment. My brother had organized someone to come and change the locks. And as soon as that was done, I wrote my boyfriend a text telling him that it was over. I had no interest in being contacted again, that our breakup was final, and I thought it was very sad that he had to hide my things to keep the relationship interesting. Since then, he called me more or less non-stop, but I haven't picked up and I won't. I know this isn't the most heroic or exciting ending. I could have confronted him with the video evidence, but instead I cowardly broke up with a text message. However, I really didn't want to confront him and have a dramatic fight. I just wanted to be over as soon and as smoothly as possible. If there's anything I've learned from this, it's not to rush into a relationship. For the past 7 years, I've jumped from one long-term relationship to the next, and I think it's time to stay single for a while and concentrate on my college classes. For now, I'm going to stay at my brother's for 2 or 3 weeks, and I should probably change my phone number. I'm sorry that I can't give you any insight on why he did it. It may have been kleptomania, a prank, or messing with my stuff because something about me frustrated him. I will probably never know. In all the texts he sent me, it only says that he doesn't know what I'm talking about and he never took my things. And there's another update to this as well, which I almost missed. It was hidden away, but someone has located it down in the comments. And I think you pretty much played the smart move here. I think confronting him whilst you're alone and stuff wouldn't be a right thing to do. I'm not saying he would do anything, but I think the smart play is to do it when he's out of the apartment. He's already showing controlling, gaslighting behavior, and it's pointless to just poke a bee's nest for a dramatic ending, isn't it? You're breaking up. It's not going to end well when you confront him with the problems that you got here. He's not going to turn around and say, yes, I was gaslighting you to gain control over you. He's just not going to say that. And I'm glad you moved out for the time being to, get away, because if it's calling you all the time, there's always a chance that he's just going to turn up at the apartment. But as I said, we have got another update to this as well, and we're going to see what happens next. Final update. I'll try to keep it short this time. Unfortunately, my last update was locked, so I couldn't reply to every comment I would have liked to reply to. In the past few weeks, I've gotten some messages asking if I'm okay or still alive, so I thought I'd write one more update. I'd love to give you an overall happy update, but unfortunately, the breakup didn't go as smoothly as I first thought it would. I never picked up when my ex called me and never wrote back to one of his countless messages. But I read most of them, and there was a certain shift in his messages after about 4 days when he suddenly went from this and says, I love you and miss you so much. I don't know what you think I have done, but I can assure you I didn't do anything wrong. Whoever told you that is a liar. Please give me another chance. And then to this. You're such a whiny bitch. No wonder you can't hold of a relationship with anyone. I hate you, and there's no second chance for us, no matter how much you wish for that. For your own sake, pray not to ever run into me again. Then OP goes on to say, I blocked his number later that same week and had an overall bad feeling when some strange things happened. Some friends of mine called to ask if I'm okay, and they were all under the impression I had broken up with him because I wanted to concentrate on my mental health. Twice I came to work and everyone was surprised to see me because someone had called to let them know I wasn't feeling well enough for working. When I asked who that was, they said he told them he was my doctor. Also, my ex wrote to my mom on Facebook. They actually never met in person, pretending to be a concerned friend asking about my well-being after my latest breakdown. It was very easy to clear some of that stuff up, especially with my family, but it was harder to do so at work. After 3 weeks at my brother's, I decided to move back into my own apartment, which was not a good idea. On the second evening, I saw my ex in front of the building, and then I saw him at least every other day, standing on the other side of the street, just looking across. After about a week, someone started to ring the bell at 3 a.m. for 5 days straight. Also, 3 times I came home and found a little piece of paper in front of my door with a flame drawn on it. It creeped me out so much that he somehow managed to get into the building. I grew more and more afraid to leave the apartment and finally decided to move back in with my brother and his family. My friend, whom I shared the apartment with and who's currently abroad, didn't take too well to the whole story. She was furious when she heard I changed a lot without telling her, and even more furious when I told her I'd be moving out because that was not what we initially agreed upon. However, I just can't go back there. In hindsight, though, I probably should have involved them more in the process. I did ask her parents if it was okay to change the locks, as it is their apartment, but I didn't speak to her about it. I feel really shitty about letting him stay in her apartment in the first place. I also went to the police to get a restraining order. It was a surprise to me how hard it is to get one of those. I needed not only evidence of him harassing me, but also evidence of him threatening my safety. However, after long hours and much patience from my sister-in-law, I got one. The bright side is that I got approved from my semester abroad, which starts in October. To not burden my brother any longer, I will already leave in August and maybe travel around a bit. I'm already in a Facebook group with all the other exchange students that will spend the next semester there, and I think certainly won't be alone. When I come back, I'll be looking for a small apartment of my own. I still don't have Amazon Prime, I'm sorry. I can't thank you all enough for opening my eyes after my first post here. I actually had no idea what was going on. Even if I had a feeling that something was off, you guys saved me from a very abusive relationship, and every day, I'm grateful I got out of it soon enough. Holy moly. This went absolutely crazy in the end there. He totally switched and showed his true character by the sounds of it, and it sounded like horror movie level stuff. First showing you the good guy, then turning into the complete evil guy, calling you a whiny bitch and you can't hold a relationship, turning up at your door, standing across the road from you like Pennywise or something, just staring at your place, and then ringing the doorbell at 3 a.m., leaving notes with a little flame on it. Whew. And then contacting your workplace, your friends and family, saying, your mental health isn't in the great place and you're having breakdowns and various things like that. Yes, a restraining order was definitely in order in this case. And what's scary, although OP is at the situation from now, we don't know if anything else is going to happen down the road. Hopefully not, because they're going abroad to do their own thing. But this person is still out there, possibly in another relationship now, playing the good guy, sharing someone else with gifts and stuff like that, and maybe gaslighting someone else as well. But they've got this hidden, darker side to them that could come out at any moment. And I find that truly terrifying. And whilst I'm very happy OP is out of that relationship now, I do like reading these stories for many reasons, really. But one of the reasons is to remind myself that there are people like that out there in the world. Not trying to terrify you here, but it's one of the reasons that I do like to read these stories, that, there is people like that out there who's willing to go to this level of extreme to control someone. Absolutely scary stuff. But I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this one? What do you make of this story? Do you think it could ever escalate further? Is OP doing the right thing? I think they've done everything they can probably legally do at this point with a restraining order. But is there anything else that you could suggest? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Getting that like, subscribe, joining me on Twitter at @MarkNarrations, on our Discord as well. Hugely helps out. And I will see you cheeky so-and-so, in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.